Hey guys! Today we are going to finally be using one of our favorite supplies, our watercolor paint sets. And we're going to be creating a picture of a forest. Looks pretty fancy, but it's actually very simple to make. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, for this project I'm going to be using my CFL Art Care package. Hopefully you guys have gotten yours as well. So what I'm going to need from here is my watercolor set, and I'm also going to need a piece of paper, and I'm going to use the white paper in the package. And I am going to need a marker later on. Oh, she likes the shaky egg. You want the shaky egg? There you go. I'm gonna need a marker later on, but I'll put it to the side for now. So, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make a really simple painting that ends up looking really pro. So, let's put this on the floor for you. You can play. Come here. So, we're going to start out with our paper and our watercolors. You could grab a pencil for this as well. I'll just let you decide once you see what we're doing. There's going to be a lot of shaking in the background too. So we have our watercolor paint set, and we have a paintbrush that comes along with it. You're also going to need a cup of water because we need water to make watercolors work. What I like to do when I start painting with watercolors is I'll just start by putting a little drop of water in each color. It just kind of helps to activate it and get it ready to go. So I'm going to do that, and I'm not really like even rubbing my brush in it. I'm just dropping the water on top and letting it sit there for a minute. Now remember, when you're painting, that you want to keep your watercolor palette nice. You don't want to ruin any of your colors. So as you're working, you guys already know this, but just make sure that you're cleaning out your brush between each color. And if you want to mix colors, I always like to mix the colors in the top of the lid right here. You can always clean that out later when you're done. So I'm going to start, I'm going to be making some trees in my picture, in my painting today. And I'm going to start out by just doing the outlines of my trees. So I'm going to be doing some different shapes, and they're going to be in different sizes. Now you can decide what color pattern you want to use, if any. I think that I might do it in sort of like a rainbow pattern. So I'm going to start out with the red. I'm just going to pick that up with my brush. I already put the water in, so it's nice and easy. And I'm going to start by making an oval shape. And if you want to sketch out your shapes first with a pencil, that's totally fine. I think I'm just going to freehand them though. So you can tell that Junie is playing in the background. So there's my oval. Then I'm just going to fill that in with my red. Now when I'm doing this, I just want to make sure that I'm not adding too many layers of paint, because we don't want the paper to end up ripping. So I'm gonna stop there. I'll let it dry, and then if I still feel like I need some more, then I'll come back to it. But I think I am going to add just a little bit of orange to this, just because I think that might look cool if I mixed some orange in. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. I'll do a little more up here. Okay, so I have my first shape. I'm going to move on to my next one, and I think this one is going to be orange because I kind of want to do a rainbow pattern. And for this one, I think I'm going to make it a triangle. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than my first one. And I think for this one I'm going to add a little touch of yellow, just like I did before with the red, just to give it that kind of rainbow look. Now I'm going to speed up and I'm just going to continue making the rest of my shapes here, and then I'll show you the next step when I'm done. Are you drinking my paint water? You have water in your bowl. Go drink your own water. Alright, I'm almost done here. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the paintbrushes that come in these paint sets are not the best in the world. So if you are struggling a little bit with getting the paint on the paper and getting it to apply smoothly, you are not doing anything wrong. The paintbrushes that come with these kits are sometimes made out of plastic. This one is plastic, and it's a little harder to get something watery to stick to plastic. The ones that we usually use in class are made out of hair, so it absorbs the water a lot easier. So don't worry, if you're struggling a little bit with that, you're not doing anything wrong. So now we need to be a little bit patient and let this dry. I think while it's drying though, I'm gonna add a couple more things. I think I want a few more details. So I think I'm gonna add, since I didn't use yellow before, I'm gonna add like some yellow little berries. Maybe I'll add like a little yellow leaf or branch. Ooh, I'm gonna do a branch. I'm gonna do a line, and then I'll do some little leaves on it. This cat keeps trying to drink the paint water. Don't drink paint water, you guys. It'll make you sick. So just a couple leaves here. Is that gross? Then why are you drinking it? Oh boy. Do you guys have pets at home? Do they always try to get involved in everything that you're doing like mine does? Because it's very entertaining when she does that. Do a couple more. Then I think I'll do one more leaf up here, or one more branch, I guess. I should call it. Because I didn't use any yellow before, I kind of forgot about yellow. Oops. That's okay. Yeah, and I might end up adding some more later. I feel like maybe it needs a little something right here. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm going to get my marker. So I'm gonna grab a marker, and I'll be right back. All right, I've waited a little while, and my paint is pretty much dry. So I chose my black skinny marker for this next part. And I'm gonna be using this to add some details to the trees, because right now they just look like blobs. So we need to add branches and tree trunks to these. So I'm gonna start out by just making a line down the middle of each of my trees. And I put this branch here, so I'm just gonna skip over it. You can see I probably should wait a little bit longer because you can see the marker is bleeding a little bit. So I'm gonna wait another minute and then I'll continue. All right, I'm back and it's totally dry. I actually ended up taking my hair dryer and using that to dry it more quickly. So if you're impatient like me, that might be something you can do. And I'm just gonna try to fix this up a little bit. It's bleeding a little, but hey, we always make small mistakes in our art. No big deal. And I'm just gonna make the bottom a little bit thicker to match the top. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna trace these little branches that I made before. I'm going to trace the leaf shapes just so that they stand out. And then with these little berry shapes, I'm going to trace those also. And then I'm going to add some little branches to them so they look like a little plant. Okay, so you can already see how that looks a lot more defined. You can really see that they are supposed to be plants now. Then I'm going to do something similar for the trees. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create branches for these trees, but for each of my branches I'm going to do a different pattern. So I think for this one here, I want to do kind of a rounded shape, almost like petals on a flower. And you can experiment. You don't have to do the same shapes that I'm doing. I'm just going to do kind of like doodly shapes. I'm a big fan of doodling flowers and plants and things like that. It helps me to stay focused when I doodle. Okay, there's my first one. Then I think for this one, since it's a triangle, maybe I'll kind of stick to that triangle shape. A little plain still. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe just add some little leaves to the bottom. Yeah. I feel like this could kind of curve down. And this one also maybe, just so they don't look quite so perfect. I don't want them to look perfect. I want them to look like they're just out in the woods. Maybe I'll even add a couple of these little berry plants that don't have any paint. Maybe they'll be growing out of the tree. Ooh, I like that. Let's do that. See, a lot of time when I'm doing drawings, I kind of just make things up as I go. I'll do a couple of these little branches also, just to tie everything together. Ooh, this one needs something. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like I'll put a couple more little tiny berries up here. Just to give it a little more detail. You guys know that I really like to make detail. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that. And my artwork is complete. I hope that you all enjoyed this little tutorial. Now, I want you to take this and make it your own. You can do different color patterns, different shapes. You could even have your trees overlapping each other. That would look pretty cool. Do different patterns on the inside. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. See you later. Bye. You guys, I just realized that the mug that I've been using for my water is very similar to the artwork that we made today. Do you think I subconsciously got this idea from my mug? Hi. Hi. Are you gonna let me put my art supplies down on the table? Probably not.